What's up, y'all? Welcome to Street Apologists Live. Vocab Malone in the house.
G Konsciousness in the building. Grace and peace.
Go subscribe to his channel at
G Konsciousness. Consciousness is spelled with a K. Make sure y'all go check me out. Subscribe.
What kind of stuff do you do on your channel, LaRon, aka G
Man,
Consciousness?
Basically Christian apologetics. Basically regular stuff, man. Defending the gospel. Salvation for all. That's mainly one of my things, man. That's one of my favorites. And lately I've been, dealing with doing a couple of debates, man, with the Hebrew Israelite guys, and going in, man.
And a couple years ago, you and I did a debate together, and tonight we're gonna review that debate because it was pretty epic.
You got it.
The name of the show is Street Apologists Live, where we serve the underserved and look into the overlooked. And if you're a Patreon, you can get this cup after 3 months if you give a certain amount. You have to go on the website to look at how it works. But G-Con, you interested in the Street Apologists Live cup?
Yeah, man, I definitely would do it, man. You know what I'm saying? But man, so what we do today, man? What happened today?
Well, so, everybody, there was a show scheduled I had set up. I didn't realize my man G-Con was coming into Phoenix. So once he called me and told me he was here, I was like, we got to do something together. So we set it up, linked it up, worked it out, and then I took him to a spot that a lot of people like to go to, especially when they visit, Lolo's Chicken and Waffles. You got a quick review, quick plug for
Yeah,
Lolo's?
Lolo's is pretty good. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, you know what I'm saying, in California. So, when he told me they had something like that here, well, first of all, the guy at the airport, he was talking to me about it. And so then I asked Vocab, and so Vocab was like, oh, yeah, that spot dope. So I'm like, okay, let's do it then. So chicken and waffles, stomach full, shout out to the brother. You know what I'm saying? And, pretty good, pretty good food there. I'll go again. And it wasn't expensive at all, so,
So me and G-Con, man, we've been rolling together now. It's going on 4 years. Next when it starts hitting 2020.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. That's like 3.5 right now. And the funny thing is that the debate that we did together that we're going to review, G-Con got on the same, he got on the same clothes in this debate.
Right.
I said, how are you wearing this? He said, that's the uniform.
That's the uniform, you know what I'm saying? Like, wherever I go, truck driving, whatever, you're going to see me. I got about probably 100 black T-shirts, you know what I'm saying? And 100 of these, and that's how you going to see me, always working.
All right, let's check out some of the live chat real quick. Shout out to Nate, my man. Judah Lion, what's going on? What's up, Andrew, all the way from India? What's up, Timothy? What's up? Also, we got BHI Critiqued, D-New, Jamaican in Canada, Goddess Spunk, not sure what language that is, but hey, Andrea Cruz, what's going on? And we've also got Mystic Zample Knight, and we have up in the house Connor Terrell, hey, and we've also got Love by God. Now you're late, you're not late, you're cool, you're right on time, you're doing all right. It looks like D-New has seen this debate already. Hey, Sean. Hey, John Williams. Hey, Miss Titus too.
What up,
right
Marcus up in the building?
Oh, my man, Marcus. Your name gets brought up in this debate. I don't know if we're going to get to that part, but I didn't realize it because we haven't watched this debate in like 2.5 years.
Right.
So him and I reviewed a little bit of it before the show, and we were laughing. We forgot how epic it was. And there was name dropping Marcus in there too.
Right.
Hey, Dr. Funny, great man. Hey, Al MCM. Hey, Gabriel Hughes. Hey, what's up, JT Parker? And shout out to Marcus Fruit. Hey, MJ Jackson. Everyone subscribe to his channel as well, for sure. Definitely subscribe to MJ Jackson. We got some great apologists in the live chat, so that makes the live chat even better. Hey, Rocky. And what's up, Show of Shows? And look, Tony Tabano with the super chat.
What up, Tony? What's going on with you, brother? That's my guy right there.
Yes, he's a good guy, man. What's up, Fabled M? And what's up, San Miguel, ex-Hebrew Israelite. And one day, maybe a fellow believer in the Lord. Everyone pray. And in the meantime, we'll show him a good time. You know what I'm saying?
Was that Samuel Miguel?
Yeah.
Okay, we got to check him out.
He's a cool guy, man. I got to hang out with him in New York.
All right, cool.
MJ, thank you for the super chat, man. I hope you get a bunch of subscribers and the Lord blesses you the rest of this year, and I mean that. What's up, Frano? What's up, Edwin Kelly? What's up? Oh, yeah. Rocky's from Cleveland. Yeah. Hi there. And I think that's it. All right, shows. Welcome to the show for the first time. We're glad you could be on. So hit that like button. Go ahead, grab this link and share it. And we are about to start right now. So, G-Con, we got to kind of explain the context before we start this, I think. Okay, so everyone, we're gonna lay out the context a little bit of this debate, and then we're gonna play the clips and interact with them. Before we do that, let's see if these headphones work. Guys, I want to know, can you hear us both good? I'm worried that we might have like a little bit of distortion, but will you let me, I'm going to plug this in and see if this works. If it works, let me know. Last time I tried it, everyone said it was beeping. So how does it sound? Let me know. Can you still hear me the same as before? If not, no sweat, but just let me know. And right now, while they're telling me that, you guys let me know about the sound. Let's go ahead and break down this debate here. So we had been doing stuff as a while. We had a crew called Soldiers of God, which eventually we also were in Shield Squad together. And then we were doing a bunch of apologetic engagements, especially that first year we came together. Like, we were hitting every show. We were on South Showtime with him.
Right.
What's that called? Debate Talk for You. Where else did we run around and go and stuff like that?
Man, we was everywhere, man. We was in Chicago.
Yeah.
You know, we was on Apologia Radio. We went on there, I think. Then we did that. And we was on a lot. We was moving basically.
And one of them eventually, I forget actually to this day how it actually came about. I remember that General Hashar, who's going to be one of the guys we're going to be watching, he had emailed me a few times. I didn't know who he was at the time, and his email was actually very like polite, you know, and very nice and cool and all that. But then he wasn't like that in the debate, which is part of what makes the debate we're about to watch entertaining but also sad. But eventually we had a private conversation a couple of times on the actual phone.
Right.
And, man, he was just yelling. And I was like, huh? So I just thought he was passionate, but eventually it happened. So it was you and me versus Danya Allah and General Hashar, old school One West guys. Ambassadors of Christ is the name of their crew. I think people can determine if they think.
All right. So Joel Benjamin had reached out to me.
Okay.
And once he reached out to me, that's when he was like, Vocab Malone, you know, some brothers want to talk with him.
Right.
But they had already reached out to you already, but because you was cool, I don't know if you responded back or.
I don't remember, but I don't remember anything about Joel Benjamin and all that. I just remember Shar saying like he like wanted to correct me or something.
Right. So then that's when he was
you were kind of the one who made it happen,
right.
really.
Yeah, so that's when he was like, now mind you now, like, I've been trying to really have a dialogue with these guys for the longest. They wouldn't dialogue with me. So finally, when Vocab got involved, you know what I'm saying, they really wanted to get at him. So then they was like, hey, let's set something up, and that's how they went. That's how it went right there. And so I got a hold of Joel got a hold of me. Then I think I linked you in, and we talked before then, and yeah.
That was a funny conversation.
Right.
I remember having my kids in the car, and I was like, whoa, this dude.
Right.
They're like, Daddy, why is he upset? This took place in one sense in Brooklyn, New York, because Joel Benjamin's shop, where he sells Ouija boards. I'm just kidding. I don't know. Actually, I don't actually know what he does, but sometimes it seems like he's into some strange stuff, astral projection, and
shout out to Joel Benjamin too, man.
You know we love you, man.
Right. Shout out. Yeah.
He should be able to get it because he gives it out.
Right. So Joel, yeah, he got his little thing, man, moon rocks and little stuff like that. And so
yeah, man. So Joel has a shop in Brooklyn, and so Hashar and Danya Allah physically came into the shop, right? They actually came. So they were all together in the shop live, and then you were in St. Louis. I think you were in your old crib at the time, because I remember the pool table, and I was in my crib in Phoenix, and then we linked up. And I got to tell you guys, the resolution on this video we're gonna watch is really low. I never realized how low it was till just now, because I haven't watched it since we did it. But it's low. It's like all the way down 144. But it is what it is. So you are gonna notice that you won't be able to like, well, whatever. You'll see. It's all right. We can deal with it. What we're going to do is we're going to go into about 1 hour and 42 minutes into it.
Now, what was the topic of today?
What is the biblical right view of salvation? Mm-hmm. What is the biblical right view of salvation? So the discussion of soteriology was supposed to be. I felt like Danya Allah stayed on topic.
Right.
He had a presentation, a PowerPoint slide. Now, we had a plan, but we didn't have all of that.
Right.
We didn't have like a PowerPoint, but they had a PowerPoint. And then Shashar didn't really stay on topic. I felt like it was mainly a personal attacks. Like he had a vendetta. He wanted to just come after me, really, instead of discussing the issue. And you held your own, but you also didn't get to speak as much because they were just yelling the whole time.
Right, because I wanted to really ask some questions.
Yeah.
That was probably my segment because my best part is just backing people down with the questions.
Right.
And so when it came to asking the questions, they didn't want to answer no questions. So it got weird, and then Ashar got to yelling at this guy, and I'm talking about didn't nothing get accomplished with Ashar. He just was smelling blood, basically.
Yeah. Now these guys are veterans, so these aren't rookies. These guys have been in this religious movement for a long time, all the way back to the days of One West. In fact, when I mentioned One West, they got upset.
Right.
Like I was speaking a sacred name I shouldn't be uttering type of thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so you're going to see some of that. So there's a lot of good stuff in the beginning. If you want to watch this, it's on Maccabees TV and Joel Benjamin's page. I've never uploaded it to mine. But we are going to interact with some of it now. And here's the reasons. Number one is G-Con's wearing the same outfit. So I'm just kidding. That ain't really why. No, number one is, like, I've seen this debate coming up recently. I saw Sakari bring it up and some GMS guys. And I was like, I thought that debate was, like, so long ago.
Right.
And also a pretty bad showing for the Hebrew Israelite side. So I was surprised they were bringing it up again. So I was like, So I was like, hey, let's do our own interaction with it. And it'll be interesting to see what comes of it. So, you ready to jump into this, man?
Let's make it happen, man.
All right, I'm going to switch over here.
People,
take me a second to get to the right spot, everybody.
You're on Joel Benjamin 528 live.
And,
y'all know what time it is. Y'all see the shirt I
there's
got
Joel
on?
Benjamin. Sorry, we're covering
Darth Vader.
Covering him up right now.
Before I can look at Bashar.
Can you guys hear the... Oh, you guys can't hear that. Oh, for this part, G-Con, you're going to have to have the headphones
other people
on.
took this group just as well.
But
He said the
hold on,
Lord
let me see
changed
if
not.
they're even...
Well, the Lord don't change when it comes concerning his promises, but if you don't fulfill what the contract is, he will change some things in the contract. How do we know that? You
Comfort of your own
We might have to take these off and not do it.
And of course, you know,
I'm just
I have the Joel Benjamin 528 on Facebook. Now, let's get back into this. Konsu, go ahead, do your thing. I'm turning it over to you.
Set, so that means...
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
People.
Well,
exactly.
the next phase in this, gentlemen, Brother G Consciousness.
I'm sorry.
Somebody already knows Brother Brian put. I wear my sunglasses at night.
They responded.
Right.
Yeah,
Didn't
y'all. He's giving it back to y'all. But Konsu, give out your information quick, please. Let the people know and what you do.
Okay. So, all right. I was gonna try it with our headphones on to avoid any kind of feedback issues, but for some reason, it's looking like we're not gonna be able to hear the audio for the audience and with the video, so we're not gonna be able to use headphones. So I don't think it's gonna be really too bad. But this is about where we're gonna start. So here's the characters. Konsu was involved somehow as
Konsu is the mediator. That's Konsu Shesman Amen, which is part of the Team Osiris. That's Team Osiris in the conscious community.
Okay.
Not so much he don't like the conscious community, but he's Team Osiris basically.
Okay. He seemed like a pretty cool guy.
Yeah, Konsu pretty cool, man. We rough around the edges, but at the same time, he's an elder. You know what I'm saying? And I try to respect him to the utmost, but sometimes we get rough with each other. But that's Konsu. Konsu, he's the mediator. You know what I'm saying?
All right, and then the guy we just saw was Joel Benjamin. He's the host. It's his channel. He helped put it together, and this is his shop.
Uh-huh.
And now what you're going to see is, in a second here, I'm going to turn up the volume, everybody. You're going to see, they're saying it's echoing. Hold on. You guys can hear? You guys are hearing other conversations?
Hold on. It's not.
No, that doesn't make sense. I've got the volume down. Why would you be hearing? Why would they be hearing anything?
Hold on, it might be from. Okay, try it now. Ask me. Say.
Hold on, let me. That doesn't make sense. Maybe there might be a problem in the background. Oh no, that's been on the whole time? Man, I hope that hasn't been on the whole time. Okay. Alright, we should be good on that. Everyone's, what about now? You should not be hearing any other conversations, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know. I didn't realize that, but I think I took care of it. Okay. I think I took care of that. Okay. Yeah, I fixed it, everybody. Sorry about that. You guys, I didn't realize that was going on. Man, oh man. Okay. All right, so we're going to play, what else did I need to say about this? So this is, so we have given our opening statement.
Right.
They gave their opening statement. And now I think this is the first, I think we gave a rebuttal. I can't remember. Yeah, we gave a rebuttal, and now this is their rebuttal. So that's what's going on, everybody. This is their rebuttal. Let me know about the sound, because you guys are saying it was messed up, but I think it should be fine for now. So here it goes. I'm going to turn it up and see if we're good.
You're going to be quite surprised.
Yeah.
As we go back to
that might sound, everybody.
I'm really enjoying it, man. These some intelligent brothers. Man.
Yeah. They no joke. This.
Oh yeah, I have to move us over here, because Hashar is going to be speaking. So what do you think? If we're right there, probably works. When Hashar is speaking.
Yeah, that's cool.
And okay, so 141. All right. So, okay, so in about 20 seconds, Hashar is going to start responding, and you just tell me anytime you want me to pause it or stop it or rewind it back or anything like that.
Okay.
You just let me know, okay? And whenever you guys want to. And you guys can ask questions about this as well. This should be interesting. I don't think we've done anything like this before. But it's cool to have... Oh, there's an echo? How could there be an... See, this mic is giving us an echo.
Why, is it too loud?
No, it's because... So, see, what's happening is this is picking up that and there.
Uh-huh.
And so it is echoing. Okay. I have a way to fix the echo. We're going to have to put in little teeny headphones, though. Do you have any headphones on you? All right.
I got my headphones on.
Like with the plug-in kind? But the kind, can you split them, though?
It's just...
All right, hold on. Let me get some. Can you talk to the people for a second? I'll be right back.
All right, cool. So, yeah, we got to do this headphone thing, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult. But who all we got in the building? We got Travis. What's going on, Travis? Yeah, man, but that food, Lolo's, man, it was pretty good, man.
Brought some extra home, man, if you want some
he told
leftovers.
He told me at the last minute they had baked macaroni and candy yams, He told me at the last minute, I would have got that before anything. And they had some greens there. I needed that soul food. You feel me?
Did you eat one of your waffles, but not both, right?
Yeah, I ate just one. The waffles was all right. It was cool. I told him that the Waffles House tastes better than those waffles. But, it was
You was
cool.
there for the chicken, I guess, not for the waffles.
Yeah, the chicken was on point. I guess they got the sauce. The chicken was cooked good. Then they got the sauce, which is, what was that, ketchup and some spicy stuff mixed together?
I don't know what it was, but do you think it had ketchup in it?
Yeah, it was ketchup because that's in St. Louis. They got a place called London and Sons. Yeah. And they mix their stuff just like that. So that's another little spot. St. Louis got some good food, y'all, And then, it's better than, South Carolina and New Orleans. It's better than New Orleans. New Orleans, boy, their food is horrible. But shout out to New Orleans, man. I'm going to pray for y'all. The God anoint them hands and cook good.
Silly, man. Okay, I'm worried that this. I hope this does it. I'm not 100% sure, so we'll have to do it like this, man.
Yeah, I got gang of earwax, dude. You tripping?
That's all right, bro. I mean, I don't know what else to do. Okay, guys, let me know about the sound on this now, okay? All right, we're going to play it and see if we can hear it and if we've eliminated the echo.
I just want to say that
you guys let us know.
Their retort back was garbage, simply because I used purposefully the term apologia for the radio station in which Vocab Malone was on, because this is where he spewed most of his venom at. And he spewed most of his venom there and went on, further on, attacking Hebrew Israelites. That's why I purposely use apologia as opposed to apologetics. That's number one.
No, I just got to stop already. Guys, again, let me know if there's an echo, okay? Okay, so in his discussion, he kept on saying apologia as if that's what apologists were. So anytime he would talk about apologist, he would say apologia. But apologia is the Greek word at 1 Peter 3:15 that means defense. So he apparently has never, at this point, and it's no fault of, I'm not dissing him, we all have things to learn. Apparently he had never heard of apologetics and therefore didn't know what apologists were. And so it was confusing. Apologists, those are people who practice apologetics. Apologetics, that's the art, science, defense of Christian doctrine. You know what I'm saying? There's many definitions of it, but along those lines. And then apologia was the name of the radio show, which took its name from the Greek word at 1 Peter 3:15. So I just simply said his usage was incorrect because it made it difficult to follow sometimes what he was saying when he was talking about apologia, like the apologia. He wasn't talking about the radio station. He was talking about certain Christians and stuff like that. So I just said it was confusing. So he's trying to justify it, but I don't even think he understood my critique because I had made this. So, and again, I try to say this respectfully, but there's really a strong level of being misinformed or just uninformed. You know what I'm saying? To be honest with you, with these guys that we're dealing with. And it's like they don't want to recognize it or admit it. And it's not about, who's better. We all have streaks and weaknesses, but these guys are so prideful. Specifically Hashar, he can't even listen to understand, and he's using these terms and using them all wrong. So it's very difficult to follow in a debate because a good debate depends upon language with precision and precision of language. And the man just did not have that. All right, so continue on with that. That's what that was.
So that was garbage, is what he said. Number two, dealing with everything that was brought out. If you listen to their speak, first of all, and also dealing with Occam's razor. When I spoke the term.
Okay, so that's another example. It's not the end of the world. I've done this too, but just so you guys know, it's just like a good teaching moment. What bothered me about their opening statements partially is that they were trying to sound like highfalutin. Like I feel like we were keeping it straight. We were talking Bible. We read a lot of Bible passages, and we just kept it straight. They were trying to sound all highfalutin, but were clearly uninformed about what they're talking about. So it was like really sad to watch. So he's over here talking about Occam's razor. If anybody who's just studied any basic philosophical concepts, one of the first things they're introduced to is Occam's razor. Occam's razor is the idea of the simplest explanation that covers the most ground. I'm putting it in layman's terms, is usually the best explanation. And the idea is that Occam's razor shaves off unneeded or excess explanations towards understanding or explaining things or phenomena. It's basically, sometimes people simplify it and say simplest is best. That's not exactly right, because Occam's razor still entails that you have to be the explanation has to actually have explanatory power. Otherwise, it doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just not wanting to add added hypotheses on top of things. So here he is saying Occam's razor, and it's just like, it's fine, but it shows you're trying to sound fancy and you just don't know what you're talking about. So I was just calling him out on those things.
Early church father, I was speaking about the terms dealing with people in the church, Franciscan friars, those that...
Okay, sorry, man. There's just so much. I have to watch this whole debate to see, but I think another part of what he was doing is, I think he was referring to Occam, who was a believer, is my understanding. I think he was referring to him as an early church father or something when he was like a much later Anglican or something. I forget all those details because I have not. Hey, there's your boys sharpening swords are on, bro.
What up, sharpening swords?
Here, I'll put this on there so you can see it real quick. So this is on our screen only, so we can see that. But if you want to see those, those are live. All right. So he's trying to talk about church history, and honestly, just it's clear and obvious he just does not know what he's talking about. He's like, I was dealing with Franciscan friars. It's just bizarre. Let me look up real quick something why we let him speak. So this is his rebuttal. Remember, he started out the rebuttal saying, our rebuttal was garbage. That's the first thing he said.
Went into the Dominican Republic, et cetera, that attack. I was using that for that term of reference and terminology so that the people of layman's man can understand that, and deal with it from there. Okay, a lot of people that are Hebrew Israelites of so-called Latin or Spanish descent, they understand the word friar, et cetera, and Franciscan, et cetera. So that's why that term was used. Okay, now the other thing is.
Oh, okay, yeah. There you go. William of Ockham, English Franciscan friar. Okay, so it wasn't Anglican, but he was English. All right, so that. But I forget exactly what's being discussed on this point of it, but let's see what he says.
You deal with the basis just from a historical standpoint. I mean, a lot of things that's being said on your end is just futile to the one point. The kingdom of Israel was divided. It was divided in the southern and northern kingdom, where the Most High, where the Creator states. He states profusely that the other half was deemed not part of Israel. They were cut off from the nation of Israel. So every time when you read certain terms, as the priest brought out, even Paul calling himself a Roman, et cetera, this.
I'm gonna let G-Con get on this in a second because like everybody that hasn't watched before this may not understand what he's trying to say there. But let me just bring up one thing. Part of what he's trying to say is since Israelites are spread out, you know what I mean? You see them in other places, and he gave the quick example of even Paul calling himself a Roman. Now, I don't know if we're referring to the same passage, but the only passage that I'm familiar with is where Paul told some officials he was a Roman citizen.
Right.
Which that has to do with certain legal rights that are conferred upon the citizens of the empire. And you could either be born a Roman citizen based upon certain factors and conditions, which was a big thing. It'd be like having the certain privileges of being a United States citizen versus becoming one. You know what I'm saying? For example, if you're not a natural so-called citizen of the United States, as far as the rules go, you can't run for president, for example. That's why Arnold Schwarzenegger could never be president. However you do that, right? So, like, it has to do with that. But Paul never says, to my knowledge, never says I'm a Roman. It's different to say I'm a Roman citizen.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? You could be Sicilian extract and be a United States citizen. But what can you explain to people why he's making a big deal about that? Because he said our whole arguments were futile due to one simple point. That was his claim.
Right, because I think because we say that the Gentiles are non-Israelites, and they say that the Gentiles are the Northerners in a Gentile state of mind. So what he tries to do is he try to make a separation between the North and the South, but the separation is not exact because we see that if you're a Southern Kingdom, it's not just composed of what they'll say Benjamin and Judah, but if you read the scriptures, even at Ezra and Nehemiah, and you look at the genealogy and you look at where they made the genealogy at, some of those Jews or some of the Israelites that we see that's from the Northerners went into the captivity, was assimilated into the captivity of the Babylonians. And then once the Medes and Persians came, they began to come back into the land. And so if you was a Southerner, if you was a Northerner, you can be a Southerner, but you would be called the Jew. So what he's thinking is he's thinking that all of the Southerners are just Judah and Benjamin, but in reality, the Southerners or the kingdom of Judah is also composed of Northerners that have come back down to the south to form what you call the kingdom of Judah. And it's in the scriptures. It's in Nehemiah, it's in Ezra, when you look at the genealogy, and it's also in Chronicles to where you can see that some of the Northerners are coming back down to the south. Hezekiah was one of them where he extended the worship unto the 12 tribes, or the ones that was that came back from that went before they went into the dispersed. Well, I'm sorry, Hezekiah at the same time was one of them within that period to where he was extending up to the north. And in the north, we see that we had those people who were Israelites or Northerners, but he made sure that they put all those idols in high places away to establish a pure worship. So that's what we see in the text. So when these guys get to making the distinction, saying, well, the north, they fell away, this and that. Well, yeah, there was Northerners that we see that was fell away during that time in the scriptures, but we see also that some begin to come back down to the south. Tobit being one who came regularly to the house of God to worship. So I think that's where they don't see it when you look in the scripture. So they kind of Sakari and them critiquing those arguments.
Oh, really?
Because they know now that there is some Northerners that has come into the south, and so they have to admit now to where it's just not the Northerner in the Gentile state of mind, but they say they disperse. Whether if they're Southerners or Northerners, those are the ones who disperse, who are out of the kingdom of Judah now. So they're trying to play games with that.
Well, thank you, G-Con, for explaining so people can understand the background. I saw somebody say that Paul bought his Roman citizenship. He's from Tarshish.
Yeah.
So that's what you just said is the reason why we know it's not true that he didn't have to buy it, is what he just said, which is the whole point of the matter. So Paul, born in Tarsus, we know that from a lot of places, Acts 22:3, stuff like that. And yes, he's Jewish, but it's because of his birth city that makes him a citizen. So Tarsus was designated by Rome as a free city. And the commander, though, he mentions that he had to pay a large sum of money for him to become a Roman citizen. And I guess the other way that you could attain Roman citizenship is if you have military service. And so Rome wanted to get soldiers, and so they would say, hey, if you serve for 25 years, then you could become a Roman citizen as long as you have an honorable discharge when you're done. That's pretty substantial, 25 years. Or you had to pay a bunch of money. But simply, Paul was a Roman citizen by birth because of the city that he was. And
if I'm not mistaken, Tarshish is in the northern territory. When you start to look at them up in the north, Nazareth, all of those areas are in the north territory. So we start to begin to see to where even those who was Southerners have spread up into the north. And you can also use these arguments to where when you modernize it, when you talk about Ashkenazi Jews or Mesraim Jews, because we see that there's these different vicinities and different areas of where these Jews are located at, but they're still Jews. There's so that's another argument that you can kill with that. When they begin to start saying, well, these these are Northerners or these are Southerners, or it's many of Jews like all around the world. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And Ashkenazi Jews just mean a German Jew.
Right.
You have what is the Sephardim Jews?
Sephardic, that's a Spanish.
The Spanish Jews, and
Yemeni,
so you have
Iraqi.
Yeah, it's so many mountain Jews. You know what I'm saying? They don't know about the mountain Jews. Then you have your Ethiopian Jews. Of course, we got to mention them. You know what I'm saying? So,
of course, the Limba.
Yeah, Limba. So, it's a lot of Jews.
And then Mountain Jews. That's a soda drink. Sorry, man. Check this out though. Tarsus is in south. Looks like south central. No, my bad. South central Turkey. And so, anyways, just looking at that, Paul's saying he's a Roman citizen is the point by that. But we'll continue on with this because this is tame comparing what's going to happen.
What Israelites did. And then the thing that vocab also did very coyly to say, I speak to the Israelites in Ethiopia and the Jews here. What I'm speaking about is the vehemency is how you come after Hebrew Israelites. You have not done that with the so-called white man that calls himself a Jew. You have not done that with the same fervor. If you can produce the evidence, then do so. Produce at least 4 radio shows that you have came at him with the same fervor that you did at Hebrew Israelites. Produce.
All right, so this is weird. The topic of the debate is what's the right biblical view of salvation. He's saying, hey, you haven't attacked so-called white Jews the way you've attacked our theology, and if you want to prove otherwise, you need to demonstrate so with radio debates where you've done this with the same exact fervency. So this has nothing to do with the topic of the debate. It really has nothing to do with anything, by the way. Shout out to Brother Ron for the super chat. This has nothing to do with anything, but he's like obsessed with this idea, and whether it's true or not doesn't matter about what we're discussing. It's just so later on I answer and give him some examples where I had interacted, but he was saying that wasn't enough. I don't know. It's a weird thing. You got to have 4. Why don't I ask him the same thing? Like, show me 4 debates where you've debated, Roman Catholics like you've debated Christians or something like that. I mean, I don't know. It's just odd.
4 videotapes at the same fervor that you came at Hebrew Israelites with. You can't do that, and that's what I'm speaking of. And so you come with that forked tongue and that spirit. And I told you don't do that, and I told you that in private, okay? Because our hands can reach out there. Just believe that.
What's that mean, G-Con?
He basically saying, like, hey, look, we got hands everywhere, eyes everywhere. We can get a hold of you, basically.
Our hands can reach out there. Right. Believe that. I mean, he's saying...
This is deeper than...
He's saying, like, hey, if you don't speak on this the way that I told you to speak on this, we're going to get you.
Right.
I mean, what do you do with hands?
At least 4 radio shows that you have came at him with the same fervor that you did at Hebrew Israelites. Produce 4 videotapes at the same fervor that you came at Hebrew Israelites with. You can't do that, and that's what I'm speaking of. And so you come with that forked tongue and that spirit. And I told you don't do that, and I told you that in private, okay? Because our hands can reach out there. Just believe that. This is deeper than what you think on a serious level. Okay, so I'm just trying to don't come with the coyness. Just be upfront and honest. Don't say, well, I talked to this one on this show or that one on that show. You have not dealt with the so-called white man that calls himself a Jew on that level. Okay, so I mean, it's not really much for me to say. I just want the questions and answers to go back and forth with the scriptures because it's actually easy. It makes no sense. When you go to Revelations.
Something real quick.
All right.
Okay, so a lot of times, like, as y'all know, formerly, I used to be, a Hebrew Israelite, So, one of the things we see is when we're in our neighborhoods, we see Hebrew Israelites in our neighborhoods. And so, I'm a person where I deal with DNA, I deal with my DNA, and I'm not a Hebrew Israelite, So, but when we have contact with them and you see that they're saying, well, Africans, which, that's what I am, or what we call Africa today, that's where my people come from. They'll say, well, we can't get in. And so then when I'm reading this book and then
you can't get in the kingdom of God.
We can't get in the kingdom of God.
You're excluded from membership. In fact, you're going to be a slave.
Right. I might as well start brewing that coffee early. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I tried to make you a cup. Right. You wouldn't take it. I always, whenever G-Con comes over, I bought us food. I offered him coffee. I gave him some water. I got him a Red Bull.
And the last coffee I had to have my stomach bubbly. But yeah, so they'll say, so the reason why we respond to more so of the one West that's out there yelling and screaming, because we're teaching the gospel. So if we're teaching the gospel and we see them teaching something differently, of course we're told to defend, and have an answer. And so that's what we do, And so it's really in the love thing, because the love thing that we see there is to show that, listen, God's message is a hope for all people, And so and that's how we deal with it. So we encounter that. We don't have it to where you see those that are what do you want to say, Hebrew British Israelism. We don't. They're not on these street corners.
I just read. The only time I run into them is in the pages of books.
And the pages of books. Yeah. And so we encounter these guys everywhere. And as you can see, they're everywhere. And so even with if you say you're a moderate, and you say, and because I deal with a lot of the brothers, that they are moderates and I got love for them brothers. But if they're coming against the gospel, clearly they're enemies of it. And so that's the reason why we kind of teach against those things that they're teaching, because it's stopping the message, which is the gospel, which is the power of God unto salvation. And so that's why we in these neighborhoods, or rather online, dealing with these brothers. It's not like it's some type of like, oh man, we're just doing that. It ain't about that. It's really about who's in our neighborhoods. This brother right here, he's an urban apologist, like I'm an urban apologist.
And I showed G-Con where they set up literally right beside my house. He saw
right beside his house. So if we coming outside and we see that, we gonna deal with that. Just like if a Jehovah's Witness came to your door, what you gonna do? You're gonna deal with it. If a Mormon came to your door, you're gonna deal with it. So they're right there, and they make it easy to walk these streets, and they getting really thick out here. So we're gonna deal with that. And like I said, I'm not against the moderates. It's the one West is teaching and their style that I have a problem with. Now, I'm going to deal with all doctrine because y'all see I deal with doctrine if it's my brothers and sisters that's dealing with Christians or whoever. But this doctrine right here with this One West is something that is so hateful it has to be stopped. Now, remember, I was already this, so I know what it means to be dealing with that.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Thank you, G-Con. That's good. All right, let's continue on. I went forward about 10 minutes now in the discussion. We're about an hour and 56 in, and this is more during, I think, the open forum. And it's funny, people were saying, man, he's upset, he seems emotional. You haven't seen anything yet.
Ryan Stevens on who were the true people of Israel.
So I just gave him some examples where I did.
You didn't
some
answer
stuff.
the question. The thing is,
I said I had to produce some examples. I gave you more than 4, and not only that, but I could go longer. What relevance does it have? I mean, why not just instead of
don't interrupt me
about it?
Man. Yo, tell him don't interrupt me.
Hold on. Go.
Because I just asked him. No, listen. I said you didn't answer the question. Let me finish my sentence. All right? Don't interrupt me again. All right? I'm not going to interrupt you. I'm going to let you speak. You didn't answer the question based upon.
By the way, he does interrupt me later on, but yeah, I'm just saying.
This, not the arguing of the doctrine, but the thing based upon them being Israelites. You argue with Hebrew Israelites that they are not the children of the book. You argue with and say that we are not the children of the promise. That the blacks and Hispanics, they're not Hebrew Israelites. You have not argued like that with them. You may have argued the doctrine. But
notice, first he just said, show me where you've done any kind of debates with Jews or about Judaism or whatever. You know, now he's saying you have to be questioning their ethnic identity in these discussions.
Right.
Now, so that's called moving the goalposts, everybody. Just want to point that out.
The premise of them, how could they prove that they're Jews? You never argued that. That was the exhaustive research that was looked upon. You've never argued that principle. But with Israelites, you have always argued that principle.
Show me one debate where I've argued with the Hebrew Israelite as a debate topic. Are you actually
Every
Israelite?
goddamn one you do. Every one you
Name,
do.
No.
You asked that, how could y'all be Israelites? How
No.
here?
Show
Then you
me a
say
debate.
there were Greeks. Then you mentioned different people that were in those areas. Everyone you do.
Give me a debate where that was the topic of the debate.
What I'm saying is this. You have presented that within the dialogue that you had with Hebrew Israelites. You have done that, and you've made fun of Israelites while doing so. But you have never done that with the white man that calls himself a Jew. So therefore, you have an agenda. You're not dealing rightfully. You have a goddamn agenda, man.
Number one, you keep on changing what you're asking me. Number two, not all Jews are white.
I'm not changing it. I'm telling how you operate and how you deal.
Give him opportunity to answer us, brother.
I don't know why you keep on saying white Jews when not all Jews are Ashkenazi, if that's what you refer to. So I don't understand why you keep on bringing that up. But I mean, why not just deal with the doctrine? Let's just say what you're saying is true and accurate. It doesn't change the truthfulness of anything that I'm saying. And when somebody says that the Seminole Indians or the tribe of Reuben, you better believe I'm going to question that because it's shaky, because you have the ancestors to the Seminoles on a different tribe, Gad, than the descendants, which makes no sense. And when I got these types of issues on the chart, you better believe I'm going to question it. Have you even ever met a Seminole Indian who's a Hebrew Israelite? You know what I'm saying? I mean, of course they're going to question that. That's the nature of the discussion. Why am I not allowed to question? And their Seminoles aren't even saying.
Okay, so on that part right there, I'm referring to their One West 12 tribes chart,
right?
Because it's not just questioning the identity of one group of people who supposedly are Israelites. It's questioning a group of whole 12 tribes chart. So I brought up one specifically, the Seminole Indian idea that they're the tribe of Reuben is by far the silliest out of a silly chart. And there's a few reasons. One is because the rest of the tribes of the North American and other places, as far as they're called Native Americans, are on Gad on this One West silly 12 tribes chart, right? So that's one reason. I'm saying is I'm of course going to bring that up, and then I'm where I pause it. I'm in the middle making this point. Seminole Indians aren't running around saying, we're Israelites. It's people from One West going up to them, telling them, hey, you're an Israelite. I don't know Navajo and Apache, because there's a lot of Navajo and Apache in Arizona who naturally, we're the true Israelites. They don't say that. Yet you got these folks going around telling them that's what they are. You got them, they see a Mexican brother on the street, they say, you're Issachar. They see one of my Puerto Rican folks I roll with, oh, guess what? You're Ephraim. This is them putting it on them. And so, he's acting stibby about one aspect, but we got a whole bunch. And San Miguel makes the point as well. 12 tribes are easy to debunk, especially the Seminole tribes claim. So just bringing that out. Now here's his response.
They're from the tribe of Reuben. That's somebody else putting it on them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man.
Okay. No one has ever said that you can't question the doctrine. I mean, that's common sense. Nobody's saying that you can't question the Israelite doctrine. The question is the vehemency of how you attack the people of saying that they're not the children of the book or the children of the promise. You have never done so with the others that you have engaged in. So whether I say he's a white Jew, whether I say he's a Jew from Mars, whatever I say, you have never did it like you have done it with the brothers you engage with. There's a problem there. That's very suspect. And it's documented that you have dealt that way. And please believe this is not the last of running you over. Okay? Because all that documentation will be presented to show exactly how you have dealt and exactly where you are coming from. It is a lot more than just the doctrine. What you do not like is that the so-called black, Hispanic man, woman, and child of Negroid and Indian descent have stood up and took a position of claim, a stake of claim, and a stake of claim to say, we are the children of the promise and of the book. And those who have punished us and attacked us shall be punished and shall be chastised according to the word of the book. That's the deal that you have a problem with, man.
I'm sure.
Did Hashar ever present all this information? Because he said this isn't the last time we're running you over. Did he do something following up after this or something?
I mean, I don't know what he did. I don't even know what he did prior to. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
If you want to deny your ethnic heritage, that's on you. But if you want to claim salvation is by works, that's the main debate I have. Most of the debate.
That was the topic of the debate. Right. Was that tonight?
I have center on that issue.
What's my ethnic heritage?
It's almost certainly likely it's not what you claim it is. I mean,
how do you know? How do you know?
Right.
How do you know?
How do you know? What's my ethnic heritage?
That's and that's one of the arguments that we see that Paul actually makes in Romans chapter 9. He said, "They are all not Israel who are Israel." And so we see that those that are of faith, matter of fact, we can definitely go there.
Tell me if you want me to bring it out.
Romans 9 and what is it? Might be verse 4 or 5 in those areas.
Hey, Tazariak, I'm reading for G-Con. They are Israelites, and to them belong the adoption. Is that part?
Probably a little bit. It says they are all not Israel who are Israel. A little bit farther down. Let's see.
Okay, my bad. 6. But it is not as though the word of God has failed. For not all who are descended from Israel belong to Israel, and not all are children of Abraham because they are his offspring. But through Isaac shall your offspring be named. This means that it is not the children of the flesh who are the children of God, but the children of the promise are counted as offspring.
Right, and so what's interesting is because, as you can see, the natural children, there was Israelites. A lot of them didn't believe. They stumbled at that stumbling stone, which is Christ, which Romans chapter 9 talk about. Both houses did, according to Isaiah 8 and 14. And so when they stumbled, as you see both houses is in that area, it says these are the ones that are not counted for the seed, but those who are counted are the ones who are blessed with faithful Abraham. And so this is why Paul goes to Romans chapter 4. He talks about those who can be blessed, as well as Galatians chapter 3, 7 through 8, when he talks about that the blessings may fall on the Gentiles, and that the Gentiles may be justified by faith, which goes right back to Genesis 12 and 3, concerning the blessings and how God will bless the people through Christ. So Christ ultimately is the one who causes not only Israel to be blessed, but also the nations to be blessed just as well too. And so when they're making these arguments like what he's making, it doesn't really make any sense, because we see that clearly your ethnicity, as Christ says, I know that you are Abraham's seed, but you seek to kill me. So that doesn't really make a difference that you're saying, well, I am an Israelite. But if you're not an Israelite and you don't believe in Christ, none of that matters. But if you are an Israelite and you believe in Christ, then we see that makes a difference. But if you're a non-Israelite and you believe in Christ, then guess what? That also makes a difference, and therefore you're counted for the seed. And this is what Paul is saying. Those who are believing on the promise, which was Christ, they are counted for the seed. And there's many scriptures that talk about the work that Christ was going to do, and that his salvation will be seen among all flesh.
That's right. That's right. Somebody actually, I lost it. San Miguel has a special comment there. I'm going to put that up real quick. But somebody had a really good point about what you just said, G-Con. Let me see if I can find it. Hold up. If I can't find it. Man. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Mystic Zamponite. The funniest part is that whether BHI are Israelites or not, it is irrelevant because Jesus brought salvation to both Jew and Gentile.
Right. And so their argument would be on that is and that's why we got breakdowns on that about, they'll say that the Gentiles is Israelites, and they're not, you know what I'm saying? That's talking about the northern tribes and the Gentile state of mind, and that's what he's been arguing all night, actually.
Right, and you got a show coming out on that, right? Isn't that your next show? When are you going live, do you think? Do you know?
I'll probably end up going live either tomorrow, but I got a show, like for instance, Psalms 86 and 9.
Okay, go ahead. Like tomorrow night. Everyone subscribe to G-Con's channel. This is a loyal friend, a real good heart, and he got a lot of awesome information he always brings out. So you definitely want to hear when he brings the stuff. So check for his channel. If someone could drop that link in the live chat, I'd appreciate it. And make sure you catch him when he goes live. Okay, my bad, G-Con.
All right, so in Psalms 86 and 9, it says, all nations which thou hast made shall come and worship before thee, O Lord, and shall glorify thy name. And so when you begin to look at these type of scriptures like that, Psalms 22 and 27 through 28, all the ends of the world should remember and turn unto the Lord, and all the kindreds of the nations shall worship before thee. So when they say, well, they'll say, well, how can God reconcile somebody that was never back, that was never with him? Well, here's the scripture, Psalms 22 and 27, showing us that the world that we see in Genesis chapter 10 and 11 had basically failed. And when God was dealing with them as a whole, they failed. So when you look at Psalms 22 and 27 through 28, look what it says. All the ends of the world shall remember and turn. Look what it says, unto the Lord. And all the kindreds of the nations shall worship before thee. Now, how do you escape that? And so this is the blessing of Abraham being fulfilled. That when you look at what God is going to do through Abraham, this points out this all day long. I'm just saying Genesis 12 and 3, which is the promise. And so if you're trying to be justified by the law, it's not going to work, because Paul says the promise, the law cannot disannul the promise. So what is the promise? Genesis 12 and 3. So if God has on his mind to justify the heathen through faith, and what more is it for us to be blessed like Abraham, blessed like faithful Abraham through Christ? I'm saying who causes the inheritance to be given unto Abraham, and also every individual that's seeking any inheritance that we see that God is able to give in his goodness.
That's right. And you know what? That passage you just brought out, Psalm 86, it is actually quoted at the end of the Bible in the book of Revelation, which is the consummation of that plan that God made that really was even an eternity past, in a manner of speaking, between the members of the triune Godhead. But then you see him enacting it in space and time with people such as Abraham. But look at Revelation chapter 15, starting in verse 3. And they sang the song of Moses, the servant of God, and the song of the Lamb, saying, great and amazing are your deeds, O Lord God the Almighty. Just and true are your ways, O King of the nations. Who will not fear, O Lord, and glorify your name? And here's the part: for you alone are holy. All nations will come and worship you, for your righteous acts have been revealed. And so do you see the fulfillment of that? So the Old Testament points forward to that era, but the New Testament, with the beginning of the resurrection of Jesus, is kind of when that era really begins in fullness. It says, now it's here.
Now it's here. And so we have to say, is God lying when he says that? And he's not lying. And so that's the question you ask them. is God going to fulfill this?
Yeah.
Or is he lying?
Right.
And they will have to say he's going to fulfill this. They say, well, all nations have cursed us. Well, God is saying here that these nations is going to serve him. And they're going and he's going to bring these nations that we see are going to be blessed through Abraham. And we all are going to be in service of him and doing righteousness. That's what that talks about.
And even in that Revelation 15 passage, notice it says Moses, the servant of God. That's
exactly.
that's where our service belongs, not to some fellow man.
Right. And if you're looking for somebody to serve, look, I'm not looking for nobody to. Listen, I'm washing feet.
That's what Christ did. That's what Christ did.
This is the master coming down washing feet. So if you an Israelite and you say that's what you is, I'm trying to get my feet washed. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Because you feel me? Because, and I'm just playing, just being funny.
You ain't got those boomerang feet,
right? You know what I'm saying? I got a little couple of coins, but hey, a little soap ain't gonna hurt. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, my main thing is I want to serve, and so I want to see people blessed because I've came off the streets, I've done a lot of cruel things, and I'm happy God forgave me of those things. So that's what y'all should see in each individual. You're the same thing. You know what I'm saying? How you gonna ask God who he can distribute his mercy to when you know already you should never receive the mercy?
Amen, amen, amen. That's right. And you know, Jesus said, hey, a servant's not greater than the master. I'm serving y'all. What you gonna do?
Right.
Eddie B, it looks like you saw this debate live. I'd be curious to hear, what were your thoughts when you were seeing it live? Let's continue on with it right now and see what Hashar has to say next. And we're about 2 hours and almost 2 hours clean in here. Let's see what he says here.
It's almost certainly likely it's not what you claim it is. I mean,
how do you know? How do you know?
How do you know?
How do you know? What's my ethnic heritage? That's what I'm saying. So you're very suspect. Even in your approach now, you can't answer with a straight lace spirit simply because of how you think and how you feel. So what you're doing is exposing yourself in your thought process, and you're dealing with Israelites, man. That's what you're showing.
And sure, you told me.
Hold on, y'all. Before y'all continue, G-Con, your screen is off again. G-Con, your screen is off again.
Oh, he don't like for nobody's screen to be off.
Oh yeah,
Joel
I don't see
like
him
screen
muted.
He wants to.
Yeah,
see
but
everybody.
his screen is off.
Right.
Joe Benjamin, his
G-Con.
catchphrase. People.
All right.
Where'd you go, G-Con?
When
you
we
doing,
come
man?
back, we're going to do that.
I don't know.
I'm going to let Danielle get his question in, but the bottom line is this. You haven't answered the question
break,
because I asked you about the premise of the attack upon the people. You know what I'm saying? Doctrine is that's nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because you believe that you're right and the garbage that you're spewing. But the scriptures tell you exactly what's what and there's what's going on. You understand? Like, for example, you bring up a lot of early church fathers, but you know that the early church fathers even had a debate with the Pauline doctrine and the Johannine doctrine.
Hashar, quote me. Name one time I
How
brought
come
up
you never
early.
brought that up?
Hey, Hashar, quote me one time.
Let me ask you this.
Quote me.
How come you never brought up the debate
Quote
about the
me
early
one
fathers, the Pauline doctrine and the Johannine doctrine?
Avoided bringing up church fathers. Quote me one debate with the Hebrews like where I brought up early.
Don't worry. It's not in the video. Listen, it's locked in the video. I throw pebbles, then rocks, then boulders, then I drop the building on your ass. And that's what's coming.
I forgot he said some of this stuff. So I wasn't saying he was saying in my debates with Hebrews I bring up the church fathers a lot. We reference church history, and so in doing that, you'll reference church writers. But up until the point in this discussion, I had consciously not brought up early church writers or so-called fathers with Hebrew Israelites because I knew of their lack of awareness of it and stuff like that. And so up to this point, I hadn't done it. That's why I knew he couldn't quote me on that. Not that I had never quoted a church father in my life, but he was saying in your debates with Hebrew Israelites, and I knew he couldn't do that. Now, you could find some since then because I would do it a little bit different, but my point is I know he couldn't. Oops, I just lost our time here. Let me get back here where we're at.
Avoided bringing up church fathers. Quote me one debate with the Hebrews like where I brought up early.
Don't worry.
See, I just said I've avoided doing that because up to that point I had, not because I'm anti anything those guys have to say, but because I knew about the Hebrews like sensitivity towards that at that point. Now, this is what's funny. He says, don't worry. So he's giving me an IOU here. He's giving me a rain check. And I love this quote, though. This is a great line that he says. I love this line right here.
It's not in the video. Listen, it's not in the video. I throw pebbles, then rocks, then boulders, then I drop the building on your ass. And that's what's
I've never done it on purpose.
Your agenda will be stopped. It's going to be destroyed. You understand?
All I've seen so far is pebbles, Hashar.
That's it, man.
Right, so Hashar.
You full of shit, and the world gonna know you full of shit. That's it.
You emailed me about...
You evil little bastard. You're evil little damn bastard. I'm not gonna sit up...
This is funny. How is this a debate? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it wasn't a debate.
Like, it's definitely entertaining, but how is this a debate? You know what I mean? And in what way? Hey guys, it's okay if look. I understand you guys. Let's try to keep we're laughing at this because it's insane, you know. But like some of you guys are making fun of what he's wearing. I don't know. You just, you know, let's just. I don't know. Not too much of that.
Yeah, I think Sean had an eye infection. That's why he was wearing the glasses.
I never noticed that though. In real life, I think he might be right because if you notice. He keeps on wiping his eye during the debate. I think he might have had some kind of...
He had an eye infection that night. That's why he had those glasses on. Because at first I was thinking, I thought about it. I said, yeah, he did talk about something. Because he had an infection.
And multiple times he was... So he might have had an eye infection or something during the debate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why he kept wiping that right eye right there.
Yeah, he does. If you watch closely in the debate, he has like a towel or something. He's doing it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, okay. You know.
You lovely and sweet. That's not what I'm built for. I'm built for other things. I'm built to run your ass over and squeeze the blood out you. Okay,
well, there it is. That's it. We gotta write. There it is. That's the line. That's the line. That's the line. What did you think when he said that in the debate? Do you remember this little rant? This part?
Yeah, I remember all of that, man. You know, it was crazy.
We gotta hear that one more time about how Hashar is built. It's epic.
Avoided bringing up church fathers. Quote me one debate with the Hebrews like where I brought up earlier.
Don't worry. It's not in the video. Listen, it's not in the video. I throw pebbles, then rocks, then boulders, then I drop the building on your ass. And that's what's
I've never done it on purpose.
Your agenda will be stopped. It's gonna be destroyed. You understand? That's it, man.
Right, so
you full of shit and the world gonna know you full of shit. That's it.
You emailed me about...
You evil little bastard. You're evil little damn bastard. I'm not going to sit up here and talk to you lovely and sweet. That's not what I'm built for. I'm built for other things. I'm built to run your ass over and squeeze the blood out you. Okay?
Well, it ain't happening this time. It ain't happening this time.
And we stand strong. Understand that. Okay?
Hey, is this how the debate's going to be? Can someone quiet him down?
You're swarming. It's a global warming in Phoenix. Understand? Right. And it's coming to you, man, because you're full of shit, you little demon. You're goddamn...
Oh look! I never saw that. You see Daniela trying to calm him down. Daniela gave him that little. Hey,
he sunned him basically.
Yeah. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, Daniela sunned him.
I think it's kind of like, hey man, you know. But in all seriousness, everyone, I want to reiterate the name of this man's Hebrew Israelite camp. Are you ready? Is Ambassadors for Christ. Or I think AOC, Ambassadors of Christ.
Yeah, Ambassadors of Christ.
So this man is an ambassador of Christ according to what he says. One more time, and then we'll keep on going. By the way, Carmen brought up the shirt. Shout out to you, Carm, about a shirt that says banging. The full shirt says banging on Esau. Yo, the other day, bro, it was in Philly. I don't know if they ran out of money or something, but some Hebrew Israelites had the banging shirts on, but they left out the on, so it just said banging Esau, and everybody's like, what, bro? You kind of need that on, you know what I'm saying?
Don't worry. It's not in the video. Listen, it's not in the video. I throw pebbles, then rocks, then boulders, then I drop the building on your ass. And that's what's
I've never done it on purpose.
Your agenda will be stopped. It's gonna be destroyed. You understand? That's it, man.
Right, so
you full of shit and the world gonna know you full of shit. That's it.
You emailed me about...
You evil little bastard. You're evil little damn bastard. I'm not gonna sit up here and talk to you lovely and sweet. That's not what I'm built for. I'm built for other things. I'm built to run your ass over and squeeze the blood out you. Okay?
Well, it ain't happening this time. It ain't happening this time.
And we stand strong. Understand that. Okay?
Hey, Is this how the debate's going to be? Can someone quiet him down?
You're swarming. It's a global warming in Phoenix. Understand?
Right.
And it's coming to you, man, because you're full of shit, you little demon. You got that.
Look.
That's the hand. That's the hand of slow down.
That's that brotherly hand.
That's that slow down hand right there.
All right, calm down, my brother.
Woo! He said he's gonna swarm on me in Phoenix.
Like some bees.
There are a number of threats here. Like I guess some you could say are like just hyperbole, but some we talk about putting hands on people and squeezing the blood out your neck. It's hard to.
So vengeance ain't the Lord's no more. It's His.
Yeah. No, seriously.
Vengeance is His, basically.
G-Con always refers to it as the debate where he says he had to squeeze a booger out me. I don't think he ever actually said that, though.
Yeah, I don't think he said it, but some of that,
Oh, man, but hey, guys, pray for General Hashar. And I'm not even kidding. Like, yeah, this is despicable. And it shows the weak. Listen, if your cause is just and strong, what he's resorting to, you won't need to do. You know what I mean? So, they're trapped in some bad doctrine, So let's go through this. We won't rewind that part again.
Hashar emailed me, talked about the Spirit of Christ.
Context. Okay,
was that the Spirit of Christ?
No, it's fine, bro. It's fine.
You took the Lord's name in vain, you violated the fourth commandment, and you're going to tell me you operate in the Spirit of Christ.
I said, God damn, the Lord's name ain't God. See how much, is the Lord's name God? Is his name God? No, his name is not God.
Go ahead, brother.
Paul said what? He said, though I be rude in speech, yet not in knowledge.
This man, can you explain people what he just, because I was basically saying, because look, in his email, he talked about operating in the Spirit of Christ.
Right.
He said that. Can you explain the scripture? I don't know if everyone caught it. It's that Paul said, though I be rude in speech. Can you explain how they use that? You know what I'm talking about?
I mean, it's clear how he used it. He used it basically to all types of derogatory words, and they use that to justify somehow, some way. With that's not the script. That's not even what it's saying.
Right.
They're using foul language. They said rude in speech is basically when the scriptures say that you ain't supposed to be having evil, corrupt.
Let no corrupt speech proceed out of your mouth. And then Ephesians 4:29. You know what I'm saying? Only what is profitable for the hearers. There's all kinds of passages like that. Don't trade insult for insult. When Paul was saying that, he was saying, and the Greek word is idiotes. He's saying, though I be like an idiot when I speak. He was saying, I'm not coming to you with flowery, fancy words, is what he's saying. Rude there meant like basic. It doesn't actually mean rude like, dang, Paul's really being a jerk right now.
Right.
So they take an English misunderstanding. But if you look at what the Greek word is, and even the way the Old English was, because the rude there did mean as in basically like rudimentary. It's kind of along those lines. I don't know if they're related in the word use. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that's what the rude there Paul means when he says it. But listen, I think this part is where I bring up what the word originally means, because I'm doing a little clap back when he says, though I be rude in speech, as a justification for the cursing and stuff, which is, again, not...
He might have cut you off, though, but we're going to see.
We'll see if it's in here.
You took the Lord's name in vain, you violated the fourth commandment, and you're going to tell me you operate in the Spirit of Christ.
I said, God damn, the Lord's name ain't God. See how much, is the Lord's name God? Is his name God? No, his name is not God.
Go ahead, brother.
Paul said what? He said, though I be rude in speech, yet not in knowledge. Understand that.
Go ahead,
right. Listen, hold on, brother Konsciousness.
Come on, man. I don't want to hear none of that, man. And you talking about saying that to me? You should have said that.
Go ahead, G-Con.
G-Con's trying.
My fault. I had ran upstairs to go get my charge to my phone, but
I just want you to know about that, cause that y'all already took it. Yo, y'all live. Go ahead. Konsciousness. Go ahead. You got it, man.
Yeah, go ahead, brother G-Con. Like I said before, we're going to have passion. That's going to happen. I don't think it's fair sometimes. Brother Vocab, you handled yourself well. Brother Hashar handled yourself well. Everyone's handling.
What? I respect the man. I just don't know how he can say, hey, Vocab, you handled yourself well. Hey, Hashar, you also handled yourself well. So it's kind of like when judges at the Olympics, if they gave 10s to everyone who dived, he's like, here's a 10 for you. Here's a 10 for you.
Yeah. I think what he did, he just, because really, that ain't even how he handled it. Like, he will, like, when Konsciousness when like he's debating over there. Well, not debating. He's a mediator over there, or a judge over there for solo division. But he has. If you think if you're doing what he's doing now, it's none of that. Like he cut all of that. So right there, he's sympathizing with him, but he even has something to kind of say about that after that. On the back burner because he was just like it was just. That wasn't formal, you know what I'm saying? Like, Ashar was snot, you know what I'm saying? Eye boogers, whatever. He was on it, you know what I'm saying?
So, here's what's weird. There are Hebrew Israelites we've run into, G-Con, who say these guys won this debate. And I don't know how they could ever say this, especially if you listen to the whole thing. Because we had a systematic argument that went step by step, and we rebutted every point they made, plus additional ones that were totally extraneous to the debate, meaning they had nothing to do with it. And I don't know how anybody, but a lot of them were just happy. They're like, yeah, that's how you need to deal with those guys, especially, me. There's the idea they're saying there. So you saying you want me to skip through some of your part?
Yeah, you skipped through it.
Poor G-Con, man. He's trying to talk here. You need another Red Bull? Go grab it.
No, I ain't going to be.
Want me to grab it for you?
Nah, I'm cool. Go ahead.
So
Go ahead.
nature.
What a water back here.
And that's just what it is. We're talking a volatile subject, and people are going to be passionate about it. So that's okay. It's still within context. You're going to have arguments. I'm sure vocab is not new to this. And Brother Hashar has been Brother Hashar since I've known him, so it's okay. So Brother G-Con, go ahead, brother.
Right. I think basically we should just keep it informational and then stop really the personal attack.
Wait, I'm sorry, Kansu. You're not letting Daniela go?
No. This is
Poor G-Con.
Oh, you had a last year.
Poor G-Con cannot get a word in.
Right, because I just wanted to keep it with the information. I felt like that Hashar was it was agenda here. You know what I'm saying? Daniela he came with a PowerPoint.
Yeah, he did a lot better.
But that PowerPoint was still weak. And even now today, it's a lot of arguments that they raise to where it just ain't gonna stand, and that's why they critiquing their doctrines. But Danielle and them, they still going with the One West old doctrines. You got the Deacon and Condom trying to reform the One West arguments. You know what I'm saying? GMS, they run through. You know what I'm saying? So it's getting a lot of these arguments is getting kind of old now. Even when you look at IUIC.
They change the stuff every day.
Yeah, the chart ain't even, you know what I'm saying? They in Africa. So, man, it's like it's the only I'm gonna tell you why these guys got relevancy right now is because if you look at him, he's dressed like a Black Panther. So people don't notice that. And so with the hate that's in the media these days is being pushed within your movies, within Facebook, all your social media sites, in the news. These are the beginning of Sauls, the Bible says. And so as people begin to go through these things that we see, these ethnicities or race against race, these guys use those type of things and they get into their emotions instead of what the scriptures are saying. And so they don't keep the peace. And so it's easy for somebody to conform to try to counter the works of Satan with foolishness and with evilness instead of just countering it with what the word says. And if you in captivity, let's say you're an Israelite, right? If you look at when he said, this captivity is of me. He told them how an Israelite should act when they're in captivity. Also, when you read 1 Peter, it says how you're supposed to act in honesty among the Gentiles. These guys ain't been doing nothing but lying this whole time, even on these streets, and being demonic and devilish, you know what I'm saying? And so they using the black supremacy tactics, because I used to do the same thing to play on people's emotions. Oh, you see what the white man is doing, and you see what every nation is doing to us, and this and that, and this is how they getting people out of the church. Plus, we know the stuff that's going on in the church,
making it easy
for the people to come out. And so when people are driven by emotions, they respond in a certain way that's not productive, and it's not the gospel way. When we all can get mad and get upset and do some crazy stuff, but these brothers is playing on people's intelligence and emotions, basically, and that's why it's so easy for people to adapt to that. You notice they come in numbers. It's a lot of them. Like you see IUIC marching down the street. There's thousands of them guys, and they getting deeper and deeper. Why? Because as the world is teaching hate through the social media, guess what's gonna happen? the people who are in the church is gonna see these guys gonna say, "Oh, they right with what they saying. We need to rise up and so that's what's going on with this right here."
So let's see what happens here.
Not letting Daniela go.
No. This their turn. It's their turn.
Oh, I'm sorry.
My last point.
Oh, you had a last point?
Yeah, my last point. They can hear me?
Yeah, they can hear you.
Well, this is my last point to y'all. I know you, and thank you, Consul. I respect what you're saying, about the energy, and things of that nature, and letting it be brought forth. But you have to understand this. This is the same thing I tried to tell you, you knuckleheads before. This one thing. Any doctrine that a man is connected to, the emotion attaches, therefore that's part of that man. If you again, I said to y'all before, if you go ahead and go talk to a Buddhist, okay, and tell them what's wrong with Buddhism and how they deal with it, you're talking.
I'm sorry, I know it's not about the debate, but he just said Buddhism. I'm sorry. Hey, my man Nate, I feel like you would appreciate this because you kind of have a certain sense of humor. I just want to play this one more time. I'm sorry. It's just humorous, man. But basically what he's doing here is making an excuse for being emotional. Right. And what's weird is these guys, I don't mean these specific ones, but a lot of Hebrew Israelites are quick to call anyone who disagrees with them effeminate. Or they'll say, if you disagree with the doctrine, they'll say, you're suspect. Notice already he said, I'm not built to be sweet and all this. Like he's saying, they'll basically kind of accuse you of being emotional or whatever. But here he's making an excuse for being emotional. And, part of sanctification is you get that stuff in the line. You know what I'm saying? Because you walk in step with the Spirit, according to Scripture.
Buddhists, okay? And tell them what's wrong with Buddhism and how they deal with it. You're talking about that.
That sounds like that'd be a dope song. Buddhism.
I just tripped off. He did say Buddhism.
like that sounds like an old George Clinton track. Buddhism. But the dog
Buddhism, man.
Man, I'm trying not to laugh, man. We're gonna get in trouble for this, man.
He did. Hey, play it back again, man.
Man, I knew you were gonna tell me to do that, man.
Listen. If y'all can y'all sound clip that for me, please? I need that.
Okay.
Play it again.
Go to the original debate. Don't do it from here. The original debate is what is the biblical right view of salvation? You can find it on Joel Benjamin's channel or on Maccabees TV's channel. Just put like Hashar, Vocab Malone, something like that. But, okay, this is special request for G-Con right here.
You have to understand this. This is the same thing I tried to tell you knuckleheads before. This one thing. Any doctrine that a man is connected to, the emotion attaches, therefore that's part of that man. If you, again, I said to y'all before, if you go ahead and go talk to a Buddhist, okay, and tell them what's wrong with Buddhism and how they deal with it, you're talking about that person connected to that doctrine and they're going to respond in such a manner. This is not no doctrine to where it's like we read the Bible and the verse. No, this is our nationality, man. This is our people's nationality. This is why we are the only people that are called labels given by our conquerors. The so-called white man that called himself a Jew, he wasn't labeled that. He took that label. Understand this. So when you go in the scriptures, who are the people that were going to forget their name? Huh? Why the black man calls himself
I didn't know that
black?
was coming.
Why the so-called Hispanic man calls himself Hispanic? Or the so-called native calls himself an Indian? Huh? These are labels that were given unto them. The white man that calls himself a Jew, he didn't forget his goddamn name. He knew about his conversion from the Khazar Empire. Huh? What about this, man? Don't tell me about what's going on and let's keep it this way. Man, I'm keeping his livelihood. It's about our people. It's the essence of the nation of Israel.
All right, you got some time. Hey, Hashar, you got some time, man. Hashar, you brought up 2 Corinthians 11:6 and said,
I know I'm no 2 Corinthians.
Yo, man. Huh? Well, then you don't know the verse you quoted because you said, even though I be rude in speech, which is from 2 Corinthians
Understand what I'm 11. Saying to you. Listen. No. Deal with the point that I'm giving you.
Okay, so what I'm trying to do is because this is supposed to be like I think the open Q&A part. There's no control in this. He's just going. G-Con was supposed to already go, and it sounded like Don Yala was saying it's cool to let them go. Don Yala was trying to be fair. It sounded like, but he said I have one more point to make. I don't know what the point was. I guess something about Buddhism, but here he is going, and so I'm trying to get it back, and I'm saying, hey, originally, you brought up 2 Corinthians, and he yelled at me. I never quoted 2 Corinthians. He doesn't know what he's quoting because where Paul says I was rude in speech. Can someone give me the exact verse Look up, Paul says, though I be rude in speech. It's 2 Corinthians. So in 2 Corinthians, that's where he says it. So I'm telling him that's what you quoted. And he's like, you know. So look at Boaz Israel says, y'all laughing, but he crushed you clowns.
Nah, stop it.
Man.
Don't try to talk what I'm saying.
Let me bring up
the
verse
you
brought up.
Giving you. Deal with I'm giving
go
you.
For real.
You're not questioning what I'm giving you. He's not what I'm giving him.
He's trying to answer.
2 Corinthians.
Go ahead, Vocab.
Chapter 11, verse 6. And you said, even though I be rude in speech,
you're
as a
damn
justification.
snake, man. You're evil damn cat.
You gotta let him talk. You gotta let him talk.
Hey, you see G-Con laughing? Why is he laughing, man? Why is he laughing, man? He was laughing too much. Hold on. Here, everyone watch G-Con. Everyone watch G-Con.
11, verse 6. And you said, even though I be rude in speech,
you're
as a
damn
justification.
snake, man. You're evil damn cat.
You gotta let him talk. You gotta let him.
G-Con, he's just laughing.
Right, that's crazy, man.
Hey, shout out to Connor Terrell. Thank you, man, for the super chat.
You need some fruit of the spirit, though, brother. Regardless of the fact.
As a justification for swearing in the sense of taking the Lord's name in vain, you brought up 2 Corinthians 11:6, which says, even though I be rude in speech in the King James Version. The interesting thing about that is the Greek word behind the English word translated as rude. And you're saying that's what you were doing. The Greek word underneath there is idiotes.
Try not to do all the name calling, man.
The Greek word in 2 Corinthians 11:6 is idiotes.
All right, so you know what?
I'm not sure what I was saying is, hey, you're saying that's what you're doing. The Greek word is idiotes. And it's such a weird, awkward part. Did you hear Joel Benjamin the side try not to do all the name calling?
Right, yeah.
I never heard this before. I'm hearing a lot of stuff I never heard in this debate before.
We're refraining from the name callings. Let's move on to the next question because they saying Vocab Malone ain't answer the question.
Who is saying that?
This dude just been yelling this whole time.
What is the question to ask?
I mean, how can you say somebody won a debate and this dude just been yelling the whole time and calling people names?
Roman Israel says Vocab and his token got bodied. You know what? I bet he adheres to Buddhism, and that's why he's saying that.
So I don't know who's next. Vocab or G Conscious. G Conscious is next. He wanted to go.
Yeah, you guys actually have questions to pose. You have a question to pose, brother.
Right. My question is to Priest Daniela. Isaiah 49:6. You know, we jumped over there, and I want to ask you this. You would agree that in Isaiah 49:6 that the tribes of Israel consist of all of Israel, right? The tribes of Jacob. You can answer that.
Tell him that it's going to take.
Hold on. He's going to unmute his stuff. Hold on. He's coming on.
What's going on?
Man, like, they don't want to ask no questions. That's what's going on.
Got it.
I know.
Let me pull up the scripture that's in question here. I'm a screenshot, y'all.
All right, y'all. I apologize. The thing is that because Joel and I got two computers in the same room, I have to mute both of my mutes. So it takes me a minute for me to unmute myself. So you got to give me a minute. Okay, so you asked me about Isaiah 49:6, right?
Yes, you see it on the screen?
Yeah, I see it on the screen. I have it in front of me, so I'm good. My thing to you, and I don't want. Here's the deal, right? If we have questions, I'm gonna be honest with you, right? You've been on the phone for a long time. If we have questions, I don't want to get bogged down. Like the first question that Hashar asked.
Check him out, though. Let's listen to him. No, I'm just saying, like.
What?
No, I'm saying just listen to him.
Okay.
Just look at him.
We kind of got bogged down. So I'm going to give an answer. You can either accept the answer I give or not, and we're going to move on to the next question so we can go back and forth like that. All right, I'm going to say this to you. To answer your question, do I think that every time that I see Israel, that it's talking about all the tribes of Israel? I'm going to say no. Because by the time we're reading that passage, Israel had been split into two. So you had Israel and you have Judah. It's two different kingdoms. They were two different nations pursuant to the book of Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, and I believe it's either verse 22 or 32. They were considered two different nations. So no, every time I see Israel, I don't assume that it's talking about all 12 tribes. No, sometimes it is talking about all of Israel, and other times it's only talking about the northern kingdom. So again, it has to be taken in context. Each verse, or each time that you see the word Israel, it has to be taken in context in that particular chapter. I don't jump to assumptions. So the answer is no.
Right. Because let's read this scripture closely, right?
Mm-hmm. He said, you want to hear what you said in here first, and then you want to say something?
That's cool.
And he said that at this time, you said that Israel was split at this time. Is that what I heard you say clearly?
Yes.
All right. So notice it says, and he said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob, right? So we see definitely that the tribes of Jacob is mentioned here. Excuse me, son. I'm on the thing. I'll see you in a minute. All right, bye. I love you. See. So it says, and he said, it is a light thing that thou should be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob and to restore. We know that the tribes of Jacob, he's saying that it's somehow, some way, this is not talking about, Israel or the whole tribes of Jacob, which we see that the text clearly says that. It says, and to restore the preserved of Israel. So you got two people that's mentioned here. You got the tribes of Jacob and those that are preserved out of Israel.
All right, break it down.
So cool. So what I was telling him this is, notice he said that there's two, he says you have the northern and the southern, but clearly in Isaiah 49:6, we still have that these guys are still dispersed and they still will reject Christ, the majority of them. And so what I break down in Isaiah 49:6 is from Acts chapter 13, 45 and 46. Paul refers back to Isaiah 49:6, and so it talks about the tribes of Jacob, which he knows would have consist of all of Israel. So then you have also the preserved, but the word "the preserved" that you see, I believe it is diaspora or one in the
what passage are you talking about?
Isaiah 49:6.
I'll look it up. I'll look it up while you're talking if you want.
Yeah, Isaiah 49:6. And so in Isaiah 49:6, when you look at it, it says that he will also restore the preserved of Israel. And so then he says, I will also give thee for a light unto the Gentiles. So if you look on the screen there, if you click on the word.
I'll put it on the screen real quick if you want. First, I got to take a pause where we're at in this so I can go back to it. I'll put it on the screen right now. Just give me 1 second, G-Con. I'm going to flip over to it, but go ahead, make your point.
So when you look at the Isaiah 49:6, and you look at that part when it says preserved, that part right there is talking about the dispersed, basically. And so when you see that it's talking about the dispersed of Israel, it says, I will also give thee for a light unto the Gentiles, that my salvation may be to the ends of the earth. Now, I just read to y'all scriptures already, one of them being Isaiah, Luke 3:6, when it says, and all flesh shall see the salvation of God. That comes from Isaiah 40:3. Isaiah 52:10, when it says, the Lord have made bare his holy arm in the eyes of all the nations, and all the ends of the earth shall see the salvation of our God. So these are a plethora of passages that shows that the salvation of God extends all unto the earth. Matter of fact, when you read with Cornelius, he was talked about the 4-footed beast that was spread on the sheet or the net that was knit by 4 corners, and you have all manner of beasts. That represents north, south, east, and the west, and that's the extension of into all the ends of the earth. So you have it to where the promise of Abraham is being fulfilled in that Acts chapter 10 concerning Cornelius. Cornelius is also would have been looked at as the prayer of Solomon, which also deals with Genesis 12:3 concerning the one that fears him. He said if the heathen or the stranger that fears God, that hear thou in heaven. And so he was an alms giver. Cornelius was an alms giver. He was given to the nation of Israel, given to the peoples and helping the poor. And if you look at it, what does the scripture says in Genesis 12:3? I will bless those that bless thee and curse those that curse thee, and in thee shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. And so we see that Cornelius feared God, and he was an alms giver, and so he was visited. And we see that also in 1 Peter chapter 2, when it says that the Gentiles will glorify God in the day of visitation, in their day of visitation. So he was a Gentile that was being visited, a non-Israelite by God, one that feared God, and the gospel was being brought to his very door. And that very same gospel is the gospel that blesses all men, which is the power of God unto salvation, according to Romans chapter 1. That's
right, man. Good stuff. All right. I'm going to go back to our screen, unless there's any other verses you want
what
me to get.
What was that word? That's it right there. Just the one of the Isaiah 49:6 to look at the word there. That way we can see what that's dealing with. Click on preserved. So you see the tribes of Jacob that consist of all of Israel. They all need to come back. We all need to be gathered. The salvation need to be all. Christ is gathering together all things which are in heaven and also on earth. It says.
Nasir is the root.
Yep. And what does it mean?
Nasir is the root. I'm gonna bring that up too, right now. Let me jump into this. It says it literally just means preserved, but let's look at a deeper lexicon. The Theological Word Book of the Old Testament will get us a little deeper as far as the entry goes. So I'm gonna bring that up real quick. All right, so here we go. Verb appears approximately 60 times. Examination of the object's protected assist in assigning it to a proper semantical range. First, material things such as agriculture or military installations such as a vineyard, fig tree, fortifications are guarded. Those who are employed in these functions are called watchmen. The Lord himself is regarded as a keeper or watchman over his vineyard Israel and over all men in general. So saying the people who guarded this vineyard, this fig tree, this fortification, those are described as this. So the idea is keeper or preservers.
Right, and you know what? I'm sorry, it's not that text, but that text
maybe it is in the Septuagint.
Yeah, in that
maybe
text
you're referring
right.
To, are you talking about the Septuagint? Maybe
it might be, but that text right there is dealing with the watchmen, and what the watchmen are the ones that we see. This also in Isaiah 52 when he talks about the watchmen. So that's a good text right there too. But it deals with those. If you look at it, there's three people that's mentioned there. You have the all the tribes of Israel, the watchmen of Israel that we see, right? And then we also have it says
52 what?
It's in Isaiah 52. If you look at it, it talks about his watchmen. I don't know what verse it is, but it's in
I can look for it while you talk.
Yeah, you don't really got to go to it, but it is in Isaiah 52 when it talks about the watchmen of Israel. But it's definitely in Isaiah, and I believe it's in Isaiah 52. But when you look at it, it's three people that's in that text. Isaiah 52. It's three. It's the watchmen, and it's also the tribes of Jacob. The tribes of Jacob consist of all of Israel, and then you also have the. I will also give my my salvation to the Gentiles. I mean, that his salvation may be scattered throughout all the earth. And so there's plenty of scriptures to show that there's three people that's there. Isaiah 42:6 is another one where it says that a light to lighten the Gentiles. So it's these are a plethora of scriptures where it says where does it say? That's Isaiah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I, the Lord, have called thee in righteousness and will hold thine hand and will keep thee and give thee for coming to the people for a light of the Gentiles.
Right, for a light of the Gentiles. So if you look at it, it says a covenant of the people, which is Israel, and it says a light of the Gentiles. So clearly you have those are references that go back to Isaiah 11 that deals with also a covenant of Israel and also a light to lighten the Gentiles. And so these are plenty of scriptures. Like when you see here in Isaiah 11, it says it right there, Isaiah 11, and where is it? Is it going to be? Might be. Go up. Where is right to 10?
Is
11. Now let's go up a little bit more.
Up or down? You're saying?
Down. Well, I'm sorry. Go up. I'm sorry.
You're saying it's earlier in the verse?
Early in the verse. Yep.
I can look it up in the KJV if you want, because maybe.
Because you ain't got to. Yeah, it's in there though. A light to lighten the Gentiles.
All right, I'll find it in here. I'll find it like this.
I can't really see what this out here. There it is. Let's see.
Yep, it's 10.
Yeah, 10.
And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of all the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious.
Right, and so you see that the Gentiles are going to look to him, and we see that Christ is that light. So, and the glory of Israel is Christ, who is that light. That goes back to John 1. You know what I'm saying?
Because he's the root of Jesse.
Right. So.
Yeah. And so, you're making the point of the sort of pointing forward to a larger people of God, I think.
Right.
And they try to deny that point, basically.
Right. So that was the question that I was asking him. Yeah. You know, according to Isaiah 49:6, there's 3 people mentioned there. And when you ask him, well, does this consist of just the whole Israelites, the tribes of Jacob? Who is the preserved of Israel? You see there's the watchman there. And then you also see I will also give thee for a light into the
Gentiles. People. Woo! You on Joel Benjamin 528.
My bad. I'm just trying to go to the part where you're at. But yeah.
We can skip past that.
And that's stuff you also wanted to bring out, but they weren't really giving you a chance because, well, Bashar just wanted to attack me, and then whenever it was your time to say something, you didn't have much of a chance. You did get stuff mainly in the beginning, I think, but let's hear what he has to say here.
He says, I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles, that thou mayest be my salvation unto the ends of the earth. Now, here's the problem here. We can also find this quoted, and also, if you look on my screen, Luke 2:32. It says, a light to lighten the Gentiles, and the glory of thy people Israel. So once again, when you look at this text, it's basically telling you that there's 2 people that are being mentioned here in Luke 2:32. Overall, you see that it says that a light to lighten the Gentiles, but overall it says to the glory of thy people Israel. Now, how did you come to the assertion or assumption that this is not talking about all of Israel? I don't know how, but
I can tell you. You asking me, or you going to answer for me?
Okay, where's that at? Tell me that. What scripture you have?
Okay, I'm going to answer you, and this is not something that can be gone over in a couple of minutes, because see, sometimes when you gloss over something really quickly, you kind of lose the understanding of what it's talking about. I already read in Isaiah the 11th chapter, verses 10 through 13. I already read to you that Israel is scattered into all nations. You know, what you're reading Isaiah 49 and 6 is talking about to the ends of the earth. In Isaiah the 11th chapter is speaking about Israel being scattered into all nations. Same understanding. I think the problem that we're having here is this. The problem is that we're stumbling over that word Gentiles. That's what we're stumbling. That's what we're jousting over. My concern or my issue to you is when you understand the history of the Old Testament in the Bible, you understand that the northern kingdom of Israel, the Most High wasn't dealing with the northern kingdom of Israel no more. That is why when you read Hosea, the 1st chapter, the Most High told Hosea that his children would be for signs. And his children had what is called Omen Nomer. Omen Nomer is name signs. Every time Hosea had a child, the child represented something the Most High was going to do to the northern kingdom or the nation of Israel at the time. Because at that time, Israel was split in 2. They were the kingdom of Israel and the kingdom of Judah. So Hosea was prophesying against the kingdom of Israel. When the 3rd child was born, the Omen Nomer or name sign that was put on that child was that the Most High told the kingdom of Israel they would no longer be his people. So if they were no longer to be the Lord's people, they were Gentiles. That's just clear. The Most High's people is Israel. If the prophet Hosea is being told by the Most High to tell the children of the kingdom of Israel they're no longer his people, now they go from being Jews to being Gentiles. That's the understanding. That's what Paul was telling you in Romans the 9th chapter. That's why when he says not of the Jews only, but also of the Gentiles, he sends you back to Hosea so that you can see how the Most High pronounced on the northern kingdom of Israel that he wasn't dealing with them and he wasn't his people. So that way you and we don't come up with our own interpretation. The Most High sends you back to Hosea so you can understand.
Yeah, that's a big one. It's an important one.
Right. Now, so when you go to Ezra 1:24, and they deal with the Apocrypha, I don't believe this is inspired scriptures, but it does have some historical content in it. But I use this for the sake of, you know what I'm saying, apologetics to deal with, you know what I'm saying, with what they're dealing with. But if you look at 2nd Ezra 1:24, and it says, what shall I do unto thee, O Jacob? Thou Judah wouldest not obey me, I will turn me to other nations. Notice it says other nations there. He says, and unto thee will I give my name, and they may keep my statutes. Now, if you look at it in verse 25, they'll say that this is talking about the southern kingdom. But look what it says in verse 25. Seeing ye have forsaken me, I will forsake you also. And when you desire me to be gracious unto you, I shall have no mercy upon you. Whensoever ye shall call upon me, I will not hear you. For ye have defiled your hands with blood, and your feet are swift to commit manslaughter. So if you look in here clearly, he says that the same thing to the southern kingdom. He's saying the same thing that he says in Hosea to the northern kingdom, to the southern kingdom. So if you look at Romans chapter 9, what Paul is saying is this: is we as Israelites, because that was what he was concerned about at the top when you read Romans chapter 9, he says, who are Israelites. And that's another thing. If I'm talking to you, why would I have to confirm to you that you're an Israelite and that you're my brother according to the flesh? So that means Paul is writing to somebody who is a non-Israelite concerning his brother that are in the flesh.
You can tell by the words he uses.
By the words that he's using. And so when you look at it, he's telling them, listen, you Israelites, and we have an experience to where we've both been, or we have, my brethren and me myself was looked at without God in the world. Because if you was placed up out of the covenant, you was outside of God, right? Because that was the covenant. And so what does a Gentile have in common with an Israelite now? Is an Israelite was out of God, and a Gentile was what? Out of God and was without covenant, or none of those things. And so Paul says that they can relate. The non-Israelite and also an Israelite can relate to what it means to be without covenant, without promises, because we was once that way. So that's why Paul says even us, and not only us, but also, you know what I'm saying, when he talks about he says not only the Gentiles, but even us who are Israelites, and he quotes back to Hosea. But this Hosea is not just in reference to Hosea, but it's also in reference to a southerner who was also looked at as not being an Israel, not being in covenant with God and without God in the world. So he says we can basically as Israelites know what it means to be just like a non-Israelite, because we had the same experience of having the advantage, but then being cast out without God, without hope, and this is what this is talking about. So this is why he says even us, and he quotes back to Hosea, because he's looking at his people entirely, not as a separation of these people, but showing that we all have that experience just as you guys with or without God in the world. And so now, he uses to where a Gentile has transitioned to receive the gospel, but the promise was always to them already in the beginning. They played a role with in being in that promise. So I don't know what that brother was. He was on some other stuff.
Yeah, he's. You see it as like a type of people being cast away, and then Paul is saying, just like Israel was the type of people who have been cast away, so you Gentiles were. But they basically don't allow the Scripture to interpret Scripture. I don't think. I think it's like they have one West, ideology interpret Scripture instead of making it plain. But I think you did a good job of making it plain. Now, we want to keep this up to 2 hours.
People.
So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go
Joel
towards
Benjamin
the end part of this, where I think some final things were said. So this is like 3 hours and 3 minutes where Hashar speaks again, and I think it's pretty fascinating. So let's check this out, everybody.
Upon all them that believe, for there is no difference. Now I want to read these last few verses at the end of the chapter, 28, 29, 30. Therefore we conclude that a man is justified by faith without the deeds of the law. Is he the God of the Jews only? Is he not also of the Gentiles? Yes, of the Gentiles also.
30 seconds.
Seeing it is one God which shall justify the circumcision by faith and uncircumcision through faith. What is the biblical view of salvation? It is that man is a sinner in desperate need of sin. I don't know why that concept seemed to be mocked in the beginning, but it's true, and Jesus Christ is the only...
I meant to say a man is a sinner in desperate need of salvation there. I was trying to hurry to get my point out, but hopefully people knew that.
Answer to the problem, for he is the Savior.
Time. Thank you, Brother Vocab. Brother Hashar, respectfully, you have 2 minutes when you are ready.
It's about to happen right now.
For closing statements, Brother Hashar.
Minutes? Yep, 2 minutes.
So this is towards the end. There's only about 14 minutes left. There's a couple more parts we wanted you guys to hear. So this is not a total, complete review of everything in it, but this is an important part at the end as well, I think. So here we go.
Time starting now.
As soon as he says he's ready.
Oh, I'm ready.
Go ahead, King.
Yeah. All praise to the Most High. I just want to say this. Understand this. Vocab Malone, you are finished. I understand this. The AOC, the ambassadors and the lions of Israel, we're going to swarm on you like the 10 plagues in Egypt. You are now under that category. You shall be annihilated with the rest of the apologetics. Number one, he has never answered the question.
With the rest of the apologetics. It's kind of funny to hear. It's like, it's sad, but the reason it's funny is because he's doing so much, and yet he's messing up so much in the process. So it's like his attitude makes it comical on accident. Even though it's also serious, because...
Bootyism.
Man, I knew he was going to go there again, man.
I'm going to call my wife tonight and be like, bootyism.
Maybe you got to wait till you get home.
Right.
All right.
And how come he has not addressed or went after the so-called white man that calls himself a Jew with the same vehemency that he has went after the black Hebrew Israelites, the so-called black Hebrew Israelites? Also, I take with great disdain and disrespect that term speaking about one West. Those were some great brothers and elders in the past. That's number one. Number two, my roots run deeper than that. Over there in Israel. Before those bastards got in the land in 1948. Okay? And you're going to find that out with a boot up your ass and the word of the Creator upon your neck hanging you. Understand that?
What are you laughing? What? You can't... You gotta find that out with a boot up your in the weight. Where's the Creator on the neck hanging you? He's pretty creative with his insult or threats, right?
Yeah, he going in.
All right, I'll let you hear it one more time.
Put up your ass and the word of the Creator upon your neck hanging you. Understand this? Because you are nothing but a coy liar that has moved around in the community in and out, stating your lies as facts, and you shall be destroyed. Thus saith the Lord. Isaiah 45:17, it says this.
But Israel.
It said, but Israel, come on.
Shall be saved in the Lord.
Shall be saved in the Lord. Come on.
With an everlasting salvation.
Everlasting means forever. It's non-stop, you idiot. Come on.
Ye shall.
Yo, it's like he's upset, but nobody's even like speaking. You know what I mean? He's just angry when he's just talking himself. It's non-stop.
On your neck hanging you. Understand this? Because you are nothing but a coy liar that has moved around in the community in and out, stating your lies as facts, and you shall be destroyed. Thus saith the Lord. Isaiah 45:17, it says this.
But Israel.
It said, but Israel, come on.
Shall be saved in the Lord.
Shall be saved in the Lord. Come on.
With an everlasting salvation.
Everlasting means forever. It's non-stop, you idiot. Come on.
Ye shall not be ashamed.
It says we shall not be ashamed. Come on.
Nor confounded.
Nor confounded by that apologetic garbage you spew, you demon. Come on.
World.
It's world. The Israelite world. Come on.
Without end.
Without end. It don't stop. It can't stop and it won't stop. And with that, I say shalom to the Hebrew Israelites across the borders of the earth, man. And the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks about. And so are you, G Consciousness, and you going to feel the hand of God.
Uh-oh. He called you out. You're a devil too.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what happens. Here G-Con finally gets some time in right here.
10 seconds. You yield the floor.
You yield?
That is time. Okay. With that being said, I'll digress the floor to the more than worthy brother G Consciousness. Let me know when you're ready, brother G Con. I'll yield the floor to you, brother.
Yeah, the majority of the white man is the devil. The majority of the black man is the devil, because we got black devils too, and we just witnessed one. But let me bring this out real quick.
man, listen, hey, you guys catch that? Listen to G-Con, bro. I'm glad you finally got to say something, man. I'm glad you finally got to say something. He came out with that little surprise. The way he did was a little surprise.
Digress the floor to the more than worthy brother G Consciousness. Let me know when you're ready, brother G Con. I'll yield the floor to you, brother.
Yeah, the majority of the white man is the devil. The majority of the black man is the devil because we got black devils too, and we just witnessed one. But let me bring this out real quick. We got all types of devils. The majority of people that's doing devilish work is devils. So let me bring this out. Isaiah 56:3. Neither let the son of the stranger that have joined himself to the Lord speak, saying, the Lord hath utterly separated me from his people. Neither let the eunuch say, behold, I am a dry tree. For thus said the Lord unto the eunuchs to keep my Sabbaths and choose to do the things that please me, and take hold of my covenant. Even unto them will I give in my house within my walls a better place, and a name better than of sons and daughters. You better understand that. I will give them an everlasting name, everlasting, a name that shall not be cut off, also to the stranger that join themselves to the Lord, to serve him and to love the name of the Lord, to be his servants, and everyone that keepeth his Sabbaths and from polluting them, and take hold of his covenant.
1 minute.
His covenant.
1 minute.
It says, even them will I bring to my holy mountain, and make them joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings, they're keeping covenant, their burnt offerings and their sacrifice should be acceptable upon my altar. For my house should be a house called a prayer for all people. What don't you understand that? All people is not just subject unto Israel. So therefore, he says that he's going to bring strangers into his household to take hold on him and take hold on his covenant. What these brothers is teaching is hypocrisy. That's what they teaching. I understand you heard that our ancestors sold us into slavery through the process of what we see the global elite, but they was working with them and they were trying to get that dollars.
30 seconds.
So that's just the whole thing. You know, if you don't turn to Christ and give your life to him, overall, you're gonna be seeing as they seeing through the eyes of looking on people in a way that you should be.
10 seconds.
But not really dealing with what God is really.
He keeps on interrupting you. I mean, shout out to the brother. You said he's a good guy or something like that, but that's too much. Right. Like no, and I don't remember them doing that to, well, anybody else. To be frank with you, keeps on saying. I looked over G-Con's like, that's annoying.
That's annoying that he's doing that.
Hey.
But yeah, man, that's it, man.
Is that it? What is that?
Time.
I thought you did really good at the end.
Thank you, brother G.
Bootyism.
Man, I knew he was gonna go there again. You did really good at the end.
You should never pointed that out to me, man. I didn't never hear that. You know what I'm saying? And you pointed that out.
Well, I mean, you know.
Hey, but you know what though? His I can take these off now.
Yeah.
His verse, right? I mean, the one we should have been looking at really was Daniela, because he dealt with a PowerPoint, and we really want to tell people what salvation is, because that dude did a lot of. He really ruined that debate. But when you begin to question them and look at that PowerPoint that guy was doing, then we can deal with a lot of that and show people how it's a lot of foolishness is in there.
Yeah, because it could have been a profitable discussion about Daniela's information on his PowerPoint.
Right. That PowerPoint was horrible. Like, some of these breakdowns is something that needs to be dealt with. You know what I'm saying? And so we got brothers that come in, and we got a collection of scriptures that we have, and you can use these scriptures to combat these guys so where they'll be confounded. And so I usually go into the Apocrypha because I know that's what they deal with. And it really works against them a whole lot. Yeah,
they're usually not ready when you bring out things contrary to what they teach in the Apocrypha, because they're not used to people doing that.
Right, but overall, man, as y'all can see, it's a lot of foolishness going on, and bootyism. It's ridiculous, you know what I'm saying? So, you know. But if somebody can send that sound clip to LaRon498@gmail.com, send the sound clip, please, and I'll use it.
Oh man, it's gonna become a song.
Right, you put it in the song. You know what I'm saying?
We didn't even go through the whole debate. It's weird though. It seems like 3 years old or something. Hey, shout out to Connor for the super chat. But
Can you move the chats up a little bit more?
Yeah. I'll let you see it better. Oh!
What?
Whoa! Judah the Lion, you've been coming here a lot. You've been cool. But, bro, you can't be talking that way. About? Guys, we got to put Judah the Lion on timeout. That's really...
Well, who was he talking to, though?
Maybe San Miguel. Let me see. I don't really know.
Somebody's talking about somebody's kids or something.
Yeah. Huh. I don't get it. That don't sound right.
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about.
I don't, guys. Let's keep. If someone really is talking about someone's kids, that's like Hebrew Israelite stuff. We don't roll that way. So let's not do any of that, man. But we just got to put a little bit of time out there, and let's keep it cool, peoples. All right, so you ready to do that freestyle, man?
You know, I'm not a freestyler, but
I mean, you know.
Yeah, you know.
Sometimes G-Con raps to me on the phone though.
I ain't, you know, but yeah, that Kanye album is hot though. Yeah,
he just now on the way. I finally played that Kanye album for G-Con. He just heard it today.
Yeah, I like that. When I get up in the morning, when I'm in the mountains, when I'm riding out, I'm gonna be listening to Kanye a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good album, man.
Yeah.
All right, let me get.
But mainly, man, entirely, I like to really just deal with the like. Let's open up the text. We ain't got to philosophize or nothing. Let's get off into what the text is saying. Let's deal with the information. I don't think these guys were doing that.
Agreed, and I think you did a good job of trying to bring it back to that. You're kind of like the man of sanity, the man of peace there. You know, but you still laughing. Man, you like these comments?
You should have never pointed that out to, because I never realized that he said that. You know what I'm saying?
It's just kind of
booty is.
Just so everyone knows, Buddhists practice Buddhism.
Right.
Not Buddhism.
Look at that. Learn what? G-Coon?
No, I don't think he meant to do that.
Oh, that's Andrew. What's up, Andrew?
Yeah, he didn't mean to do that.
Oh, what up, Andrew?
Telling you to learn programming? What do you mean did a review for his channel? A review of what? Oh, yeah, Kanye. Hey, David Wood is in the house.
What up, David?
We should listen to the Kanye album on our road trip next week. So, David Wood's coming to Phoenix. Sam Shamoon's going to roll out. Anthony Rogers is going to roll out. We're going to drive to San Diego on a road trip. Hey, you should try to get some loads over in San Diego because we're going to be there next week. If you can swoop through.
I might try to do that.
You can kick it with us at ETS.
Matter of fact, they got a load that's coming all the way back. I might try to get back over that way.
So, maybe G-Con could kind of swoop through or something. And
that's next weekend?
We're going to be there like Tuesday through Saturday, I think.
Yeah, y'all leaving on Saturday though, huh?
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to be able to make it out in the street and stuff because Sam Shamoon has to get back for a wedding. Okay. And he's with us in the car.
San Diego, nice too.
It's real nice, bro. San Diego, it wasn't so expensive. It'd be like one of the best places to live in a lot of ways. Between the food and the weather and it's like a real chill culture. I mean, San Diego. People like LA. I don't know why people like LA. I don't need nothing in LA. I'm sorry. It's cool to visit, I guess. But San Diego.
San Diego, nice.
Man. Yeah. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. I don't know if you want to stick around. I'm going to put these headphones in, do a couple freestyles in the show. You can stick with it. You can give me some topics. I already know one of the topics you're going to say.
Booty,
yeah. I already know, bro.
Hey, I'm finna go to the restroom and warm my food up.
All right, G-Con. Hey, everyone, G-Con's going to go to the restroom and warm his food up, and then I'll get you right out of here, bro.
Yeah, so it's all good. But, man, grace and peace to y'all, man. I love y'all. Thanks for listening in. And, like I say, man, you know, hey, let's keep on praying for these brothers. Keep on, you know, giving out that gospel. And, you know, stay walking in it. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. And everyone subscribe to G-Con's channel because you got a little taste of some of the breakdowns he's going to be bringing out on salvation. Real good stuff. And I think you guys definitely want to see it. So subscribe to his channel. How do they find your channel again?
You just type in G and then consciousness is spelled with a K. And really what that means is God consciousness. And God consciousness is due to Genesis chapter 3, which deal with, you know, being consciousness of God's instructions, basically. You know what I'm saying? And
all right.
So that's what that means. So it ain't no type of, you know how they, this is a conscious.
Yeah, it ain't got nothing to do with Buddhism.
Yeah, none of that. It ain't got nothing to do with Buddhism at all.
All right, man. All right. So I'll let you do that, G-Con, and then I'm going to close it out with the freestyle. So G-Con he's not leaving the building. He's just leaving the studio for a second, but that's all right. I still got Justice in the back. You guys can see Justice kicking it. And let's set this up. All right, I'm going to set this up real quick. You guys got your comments on the screen here. And let's jump on and let's grab a beat here. End the show with a couple freestyles. And call it a night. Shout out to Act 17 Apologetics in the house. But by the way, remember, I am going to be going live tomorrow as well. And also the next day. So today's Thursday. But God's grace, we're going live also Friday and Saturday. I know it's late there on the East Coast and stuff like that. Sorry about that. G-Con and I just set this up. So let's grab some of these beats right here. All right, let's see how this one sounds right here. Time to rock. Come to Doctrine on the Black. Doctrine for the urban apologist warriors. Scoring points like Jordan. Crossing over like the Jordan. Your band or your crew. Make sure that you always keep it true. Quote the Bible, don't misquote it, dude. Check it out now. Ephesians chapter 2. Paul was rude, but what does it mean? It don't mean what I think you think it means. It ain't talk about speaking obscene. That's bootyism, not what I mean. We gotta keep it clean like a washing machine. Vocab Malone, indeed my dean, means my religion. So here I go with precision. Make an incision with my incisor. Pass a screwdriver. Fix it up like I was MacGyver. Got that style, funky like a diaper. Off the bug with the windshield wiper. Make it rowdy like Roddy Piper. Peep it out now from a windpiper. Vocab, I gotta keep it hyper. Jesus, who he's a Christa, meaning Messiah, not the liar. Preach the word like I was Jeremiah. Fire, fire, fire in my bones. Chillin' in my home, I'm Vocab Malone. Spit this poem straight from the dome. When I lead the party, say peace out, shalom. Yes, indeed, once again it's on. Gotta preach the word from here to Iran, maybe to Iraq, and then I'm gone. With the backpack for the tracks, no bombs. Yes, y'all, bring the violin. Peep it out now, I'm freestyling. Freestyling like a violin coyote. Peep it out now, never smoke the peyote. Peyote. Yes, y'all, you know what I quote. Jesus the Christ, his words are life. Now I gotta stop and put down the mic, alright? You guys liking that? Alright, one more beat. We'll call it a night. Yes, Mrs. Scruffles is chilling in the back. To a new view, peep it out now. To a theater near you. Two-man crew, yes, we coming through. Do a thing, we bang like the woo. Wu-Tang, God doing a new thing. Peep it out now, we got to keep it lovely. No bubbly, not puffy, not shine. Peep it out, rock on until that break of dawn. Peep it out now, cut you down like the line with the scripture. Hit ya, I will rearrange the whole freaking picture. Enlist ya to God's army. Me and G-Connor in harmony. I eat my grits and my hominy. I gotta speak a sermon, it's a homily. On top of the beat by Soko. Yes, y'all, check it out now, it's cold. It's cold like the weather on the East Coast. Peep it out now, beast mode. We burn this mic like toast. Yes, we do. Now we go coast to coast. Coast to coast like I was Art Bell. What's up, y'all, to the clientele? Clientele, you know we rock well, rocks well. I prevail, mean we will survive. Yes, indeed, don't drink and drive unless it's Kool-Aid. Got a new grade today. Peep it out, don't got a toupee, but come off the head like it was a toupee. Got my beard, but got to shave a little bit here so it's not on my neck. Call me the inspector, inspect the deck, or maybe the gadget. Hip hop like a rabbit, gotta grab it. Dag nabbit, that's what I say, what I'm blasting. If you're asking, peep it out now, yo, it has been. Rocky like I was from Aspen, Colorado, do a backspin like I was a b-boy. Crazy legs, maybe. Yes, indeed, I had a baby. Or one or two, you know we coming through. Hey, go ahead, make the party like so. That's what they say. Who knows that like a holiday? Thank God we got it made like special ed. Now we chillin' in the shade. Hey, hey, where's a hater? Hey, 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 got electrolytes, Gatorade. Don't get played at the end of time, almost at the end of my rhyme. Okay, got the grind, now I gotta clean it up. Peep it out, hey Scotty, gotta beat me up. Not in a UFO chariot, but peep it out, hotel favorite Marriott.